What if everything you believed, every word, every smile, every "I got you," was built on a lie? One message, just one, flipped joy into betrayal. And when Yandy uncovered those texts between Mendeecees and Erica Mena, the celebration turned into chaos. But here's the twist: they were never supposed to see the light of day. Was it betrayal? Or was it sabotage? What you're about to see might just change how you define loyalty forever. Yandy just dropped a major bomb that shook the entire Love and Hip Hop Atlanta crew. She exposed private texts between Mendeecees and Erica Mena tied to Scrappy's recent baby news. Fans were left speechless. While everyone was smiling, in public, quiet messages, subtle emojis and sneaky whispers were telling a very different story behind the scenes. And when those messages hinted at Mendeecees and Erica teaming up for something unexpected, things got messy fast. It all exploded when a leaked screenshot surfaced. It showed late-night chats, emotional apologies, and secret conversations. Yandy was not having it. She wanted answers, and she wanted them on camera. What started as celebration quickly turned into chaos. Long-time friendships started crumbling. Was this just casual talk, or were lines being crossed in a way that could ruin everything? In Atlanta, secrets never stay hidden for long. Yandy stormed into the green room, phone clutched tight, her heart pounding from anger and disbelief. Just hours earlier, she had been laughing and celebrating Scrappy's baby news with the group, but now, that same group fell silent as she lifted her phone and stared straight at Mendeecees. The atmosphere shifted in an instant. What had been a moment of celebration suddenly turned icy. Yandy stood frozen, her eyes locked onto her phone screen. It displayed a private exchange messages between Mendeecees and Eric laced with urgency, regret, and layers of secrecy. The party noise faded into the background as quiet suspicion filled the air. Joy turned into tension as quiet murmurs began to spread behind the scenes. Yandy's voice, tight with disbelief, shattered the hush. "What is this?" she asked, holding up her phone like evidence in a courtroom. Her voice trembled, but her eyes were firm. Mendeecees' posture stiffened. He did not move, as if hoping silence could erase the words, now staring back at both of them. But Yandy did not wait for an explanation. Her fingers trembled as she scrolled through each message, her breathing uneven. "Explain this now," she demanded, tapping Erica's name and then pointing to a response that read, "I did not want anyone to know." The words sat between them like a wound suddenly reopened. Mendeecees swallowed hard, caught off guard, and clearly battling how to respond. He opened his mouth to speak, but said nothing at first, the silence stretching longer than it should have. Yandy's eyes never left his face. All around them, conversations slowed. People sensed something was unraveling. Whispers grew louder, forming an invisible circle of pressure. Some cast members glanced toward the trio, exchanging knowing looks. Others watched in nervous silence, unsure whether to step in or stay out of it. Yandy turned to Erica now, her tone sharper, more emotional. "What were you two hiding from me? Why would you keep this secret?" she asked, not just seeking answers but trying to understand the betrayal underneath the words. Erica's eyes dropped. Guilt flickered across her face, but she hesitated, too, unsure how to begin. The celebration had shifted into a confrontation that no one had seen coming. This was no longer just about messages, it was about trust, timing, and what happens when private truths surface in public moments. In that tense room, one thing was clear: the truth had found its way out, and now, no one could look away. The air grew heavy. The group felt torn. Some still saw Mendeecees as a father figure, while others saw betrayal on that tiny screen. Scrappy, unaware of all this, stood awkwardly nearby. His happy moment had been completely overshadowed. Meanwhile, Tasha K was already recording everything. She knew gold when she saw it. Within minutes, social media exploded with hashtags like #Mendeecees TextGate and #Erica Mena Conspiracy. Some people believed Erica was trying to spark drama for a TV comeback. Others thought Yandy was reacting too strongly to a harmless friendship. There were rumors Erica got involved right after the baby announcement, hoping to shift attention. Behind the cameras, producers watched eagerly. It was the drama they had been waiting for. Rashida, quietly observing from a corner, knew the pain Yandy was feeling. She had lived through public betrayal before. Gently, she approached and placed a calming hand on Yandy's shoulder. "Take a breath," she said. But Yandy's eyes were full of fire. "I have heard enough," she whispered. "This feels like a knife in my back." The room was tense, electric with emotion. On social media, Fans said this was not just a reality show moment, it was a raw look at broken trust. Backstage, Mendeecees sat in the makeup trailer, the powder on his face, unable to hide his shame. He looked at his phone. Erica's name was blinking. He opened a message with shaking hands. "I thought you knew why I needed to talk. It wasn't because I didn't care about you." Her words made his guilt heavier than any handcuffs he had ever worn. Outside the door, whispers grew louder. "Did you see the texts?" someone murmured. Judgment hung thick in the air. Yandy stood in the green room, her mind racing with memories old, late-night talks with Mendeecees, now tainted by betrayal. Her assistant asked gently, "Should I call him?" Yandy paused, staring at her phone. "No," she said softly. "I want him here. I need to hear it from him." The family felt split. Some encouraged Yandy to listen. Others felt the damage was already done. Erica stood nearby, lips tight, waiting for her moment to speak. She had always said her connection with Mendeecees was innocent. But now, with those texts exposed, her defense felt thin. She stepped forward. "Yandy," she said, steady and serious. "You need the full picture." Her words felt like a dare. On social media, some praised her courage. Others accused her of causing chaos. As tensions peaked, Mendeecees finally stepped out. His cheeks were red, his eyes pained. He looked back and forth between Erica and Yandy. Then, finally, he spoke. "I never wanted to hurt you," he said softly. "Erica and I were only talking about how to handle the media after Scrappy's news. You know how fast things spin out of control." But as he talked, Yandy stared at the texts glowing on her phone, proof of betrayal she could not unsee. She closed her eyes, struggling to breathe. "So, that is what you say," Yandy responded calmly, but the hurt was clear in her tone. Fans watching live felt pulled right into the middle of the drama, caught between words and actions. Some of the cast quietly stood behind Yandy, offering support through silence. Others moved closer to Erica, drawn in by her quiet strength. Tasha K, never one to miss a moment, leaned in with her camera and whispered, "Look at that face, that right there is what betrayal looks like." The tension in the room was intense. A mix of loyalty, jealousy, and secrets was about to burst wide open. As the first part of the taping ended, the room was filled with energy that no one knew how to release. Yandy stood tall, holding her phone, the very thing that carried her pain. Mendeecees leaned quietly against the light rig. He looked nothing like his usual confident self. His shoulders were slouched, and his face told a story of regret. Erica stayed just on the edge of the chaos, staring at Yandy's shaking hand like the phone might unlock answers to everything. Fans were in shock. What started as a sweet moment celebrating Scrappy's new baby had spiraled into heartbreak and finger-pointing. Tasha K grabbed the moment to go live, excitedly telling her audience, "This is bigger than just texts. This is what happens when loyalties change overnight." Behind her, her assistant scrolled through a flood of comments, some furious, others heartbroken. Rumors began flying. Some believed Mendeecees had used Erica's help to control the baby news. He stepped away from the shadows and walked toward Yandy, his step slow, voice rough. "I never meant to hurt you," he said softly, voice cracked. "So, you thought I could not handle it? That I would lose control?" Her pain was clear, and fans felt it too. They remembered her strength over the years, and how deeply she had trusted Mendeecees. Emotions ran deep. The bonds between them were starting to split. Erica stepped forward, lifting her hands slightly. "Yandy, please believe me. I never meant to hurt you. I only wanted to help. I saw how stressed you were and thought I could handle things quietly," she said, her voice soft and her eyes filled with tears. "But now I see that hiding things only made it worse." Her honesty surprised everyone. No drama, just truth. A few cast members exchanged looks, they had never seen this side of her. Social media lit up. Some praised Erica for owning up. Others still questioned her reasons for stepping in at all. Yandy slowly lowered her phone, trying to catch her breath. Her arms crossed, face torn between anger and understanding. Finally, she gave a small nod. "I know you meant well," she whispered, "but being honest matters most." She looked straight at Mendeecees, who nodded in agreement. Regret written all over his face. "We will figure it out," he said gently. The room seemed to exhale at once, a brief moment of peace. In all the chaos, still, the damage had been done. The family felt broken. Memories of private messages were still too fresh to forget. Outside the studio, Scrappy walked under the dim lights, checking his phone after spending the night out. His face was filled with confusion as he read the updates. "Y'all are wild," he mumbled, then sent a group message. "Somebody tell me what happened." Inside, Erica and Yandy both reached for their phones, one asking for calm, the other leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions. Scrappy ran a hand through his hair, trying to understand how something so joyful had turned into a scandal. He had always been close to Mendeecees, but now, even that bond felt shaky. Back in the studio, producers quickly moved to capture the moment. "Let's get her confession," one whispered. The cameras turned to Yandy, tears still shining in her eyes. She took a deep breath and began to speak about the late-night doubts, the hidden texts, and the heartbreak of being left in the dark. Viewers leaned in closer. Her honesty cut through the usual TV drama. In the control room, producers watched. As ratings soared, the scandal had everyone talking, but some wondered if they had gone too far by putting such private pain on display. The next morning, the set looked like a storm had passed. Empty chairs, tangled cords, and silence. Yandy arrived first, her face still marked by last night's tears. As she walked toward the wardrobe truck, cast and crew glanced her way, unsure of what to say. Erica showed up shortly after, hair perfectly styled. She gave Yandy a small nada quiet gesture of respect. Yandy looked back with a faint, bittersweet smile. It said more than any words could. The moment felt almost cinematic, as Yandy and Erica stood side by side under the bright studio lights. Two women, once caught in tension, now stood united by truth and transparency. But outside the set, fans were at war. Social media became a battleground, with people choosing sides, arguing over who was right and who played the villain. Even the family started feeling that divide. Then, Mendeecees stepped forward. Though his hands were free, it felt like guilt had him chained inside. As he looked at the two women standing together, a deep truth hit him. Sometimes, all it takes to start healing is honesty and empathy. "I know hashtags can't fix this," he said, softly, clearing his throat, "but I want both of you to know I'm done hiding. From now on, I'll be truthful." His words were plain, but they carried weight. Both women gave small nods in return. The producers kept the cameras rolling as Fedra, Rashida, and Papoose walked toward the same round table where everything had first fallen apart. Now, they were there to witness something new, maybe even healing. The studio lights were harsh, but the moment unfolding in front of them was peaceful, like watching something broken start to come together again. Yandy took a breath and slowly sat down, the sound of her chair scraping quietly across the floor. Mendeecees and Erica sat on either side of her, forming a quiet triangle full of pain, but also possibility. "We've all gone through a lot this season," Yandy began, her voice steady. "And while we can't undo what's happened, we can choose to learn from it." Erica leaned in, calm but serious. "Secrets destroy," she said. "So, I'm being open today." She pulled out her phone and showed a thread of messages she had exchanged with the network's PR team. Apology drafts, proof she asked to keep the baby news off social media, and evidence that she was honest with brand partners. With the screens, light glowing in her eyes, she added, "I just wanted to protect everyone from the chaos." Mendeecees nodded, his eyes misty. "I hid behind those messages. I thought I was protecting Yandy, but I made things worse." He gently reached for Erica's hand. "I'm sorry," he whispered. Millions were watching as truth blurred with reality. Just as it felt like the tension might fade, the sound of sneakers echoed through the set. Scrappy entered, his face stiff with stress. His phone buzzed, non-stop. "I just saw everything," he said, his voice tight. "I don't know all the details, but I know this: my family deserves honesty." He looked toward Yandy, softer now. "I never meant for my baby news to get buried like this." Yandy's lips trembled. "It brought us together. Just not in the way I expected," she said quietly. Scrappy joined them at the table. "We need to decide. Are we healing together or falling apart?" His words made the others pause. Rashida jumped in, voice firm but kind. "Yes, we're full of drama, but we've also got history. We're a family." Fedra nodded. "And if we can't be honest with each other, what are we really showing the world?" Cameras kept rolling. The crew could feel this was rehearsed. The three looked at one another. Yandy slowly unfolded her arms and placed her hands flat on the table. "I want our followers to know, yes, we are flawed, but we're still a family," she said. "That doesn't mean I'll ignore the truth." Erica gave a soft smile. "Thank you for giving me the chance to make things right." Mendeecees reached for Yandy's hand too. This is our truth. The only one worth sharing. Social media lit up again, but this time, it was different. Fans respected the honesty. This is real talk, one person typed. I'm rooting for them. For the first time, the audience wasn't divided, they were united in hope. But the producers knew reality TV never stays quiet for long. Right then, an intern rushed in, out of breath. Guys, PR just confirmed something big. Erica's phone was hacked. Some of those texts, they might have been edited. The room froze. Erica turned pale. What? Yandy gasped. Mendeecees slammed the table, knocking over a water cup, gently. Someone else tried to tear us apart. Now the family was not fighting each other, they were facing a bigger threat, someone hiding in the shadows, someone who had planned the fallout before it even started. The three of them looked at one another, realizing the true enemy might be outside their circle. Just then, cameras outside refocused, ready to capture their next move. This had just become more than drama, it was a mystery, and it would test everything they believed about trust, loyalty, and truth. The mood in the small tech room was tense, as the forensic team finally shared their findings. Someone had quietly broken into the messaging system and messed with the text messages, taking advantage of a weak spot in the software. Yandy lowered her head while Erica Mendeecees stood nearby, eyes wide. Both looked like they were feeling a mix of relief and disbelief. For a few seconds, the three of them just stood there, stunned by this new act of betrayal. This betrayal hurt more than others. It had used their trust in technology against them. Viewers watching live felt a wave of emotion, some angry at the sabotage, others heartbroken for the family. Yandy slowly stepped forward and turned off her phone. It suddenly felt heavier in her hand than ever before. She looked at Mendeecees and gave a small smile. So those messages, they weren't from you? She asked, her voice trembling. Mays took a deep breath, his guilt showing. I never wanted to hide anything, he whispered as he moved closer. Erica nodded, eyes full of emotion. I'm sorry. I doubted you, she said, reaching out to hold Yandy's hand. That simple gesture helped repair the trust between them. Everyone in the room seemed to let out a breath they had been holding. Rashida wiped her eyes and smiled proudly. Fedra, usually calm and classy, looked truly relieved. Papoose let out a long whistle and shook his head, clearly impressed by how strong the group had remained. Scrappy stepped in and placed an arm around Yandy's shoulders. Proud of how tough she was, not just on the field, but in life, he said. They were proof that tough times can bring people closer than any storyline ever could. But even as the group found peace, questions hung in the air. Who hacked the messages? Why? Not far off, Tasha K's crew stood ready, cameras rolling, waiting for more answers. Then Erica turned to face the cameras. We do not know everything yet, she said, her voice calm but real. But we are ready to find the truth and find each other again. Her honesty stood out in a world full of fake drama, and viewers respected her for it. The hashtag #TechBetrayal exploded online. What began as a family dispute turned into a digital mystery. To keep the story going, producers soon announced a special episode to investigate the hacking. They promised interviews with cyber experts, behind-the-scenes looks at how the messages were changed, and real reactions from the cast. Fans were excited, but away from the cameras, Yandy, Maz, Erica, and Scrappy met in private. They decided they wanted to tell the story truthfully, not just for drama, but as a warning to others about how dangerous digital tools can be when used to hurt people. Yandy sat alone at her mirror, thinking about what she wanted to say. She practiced her words over and over, remembering how painful it was to have her heart broken by a stranger's lie. Tears came, but she stayed strong. When the cameras rolled, she spoke with pure emotion. I thought we were falling apart because of our own secrets, she said. But now I know someone else was trying to tear us apart. We know the truth now. I am ready to move forward with honesty and an open heart. Her words touched people deeply. She turned her own pain into strength and gave others hope. Maz also prepared a statement. He wanted to talk about loyalty and forgiveness. In a quiet moment with the group, he shared his heart. Even when I felt ashamed, he said, I learned what real loyalty looks like. Yandy stood by me. Erica told the truth. Scrappy reminded me what family really means. No hacker can take that away. Then he looked at everyone, people who had seen him go from guilt to healing. Viewers saw a different side of him, not full of pride but full of realness. And they respected him. More than ever.